There are always two versions of me existing simultaneously. The one who craves a slow, peaceful life, and the one who simply cannot sit still. They share the same body, the same mind, and an impressive intake of Diet Coke, yet they have completely different ideas about what a productive day should look like. The world loves to categorize. You're either driven or present, hustling or embracing stillness, chasing success or enjoying your life. Choose wisely. Or, what if you don't choose at all? For 15 years, I treated ambition like a never-ending race, as if success was always just around the corner. Long hours, questionable rewards, and the vague promise that one day, all the effort would pay off. I worked, I hustled, I collected panic attacks like loyalty points, convinced that if I just kept going, I'd finally reach a place where balance was waiting with open arms. I thought ambition had to be loud, that it meant sacrificing sleep, peace, and any sense of work-life balance. That if I wasn't constantly proving myself, I wasn't really achieving anything. And then I burned out so many times that even my burnout started burning out. I was running on empty until even the fumes ran out and staged an intervention. That's when I found myself attempting the impossible, building a life that was both soft and ambitious. Mornings are slow now, not because I follow a 5-step journaling routine like a wellness influencer, but because my body and the concept of time have never once agreed. There's no morning rush, no frantic email checking, no diving into work before acknowledging that I am, in fact, a person with needs. Instead, my dog gets the first part of my day. We take a quiet walk, occasionally interrupted by his deep fascination with a single leaf. Then comes caffeine, in whatever form requires the least effort to acquire, and no matter how urgent everything feels, the world will still be there when I get to it. It's a delicate balance, making room for stillness without slipping into complete inertia. I've been guilty of both, overloading myself and doing absolutely nothing. I've measured my worth by productivity, then swung too far in the other direction, convincing myself that binge-watching 6 hours of high-quality reality TV counted as self-care. Spoiler, it didn't. But I did develop an unhealthy emotional attachment to strangers I'll never meet. I've learned to say no, not in the confident, boundary-setting way people post about online, but in the way that leaves me physically unwell for hours afterward. Because when you've built an identity around always saying yes, around being agreeable, available and easy to work with, unlearning that takes time. It's uncomfortable, but necessary, like eating pasta while wearing white. Never easy, but sometimes unavoidable. And then there are the people. If a quiet life is to mean anything, it must be protected. Not everyone gets access to your time, your energy, your peace. There are people I've loved who I no longer see, not because they were terrible, but because I was terrible with them. Some friendships feel like home. Others feel like group projects where you did all the work, and yet somehow they still got an A. I still work, obviously. And when I do, it's not soft, slow, or calm. It's obsessive. It's me at my desk muttering to myself, rewriting the same sentence until I start questioning whether words have ever had meaning. It's staying up until 2 a.m. perfecting a project that no one asked me to perfect, but I will anyway, because there's a difference between work and the kind of work that grabs you by the throat and refuses to let go. So no, I haven't rejected ambition. I've just rejected the version of it that demands you sacrifice everything else in its pursuit. Because if I've learned anything, it's that doing all the right things guarantees nothing, and that life-changing moments tend to arrive unannounced on an otherwise ordinary Tuesday. I was 22 when I first tried to break into the film industry. I sent hundreds of emails to production companies. Not one replied. My big break didn't come from networking, LinkedIn, or strategically planned hustle. It happened because a production coordinator walked into my dad's restaurant, struck up a conversation, and 3 months later I got a call asking if I wanted to be a cast assistant on a movie. My entire career trajectory shifted overnight. Here's what no one wants to admit. Luck plays a role. You can hustle yourself into exhaustion and still find that the thing that changes your life is as random as someone ordering a sandwich in the right place at the right time. Of course, luck only works if you're ready for it, and it has an uncanny way of showing up precisely when you've stopped caring. It never arrives when you're prepared. wearing a curated outfit and holding a color-coded planner. No, it finds you in questionable sweatpants, carrying a receipt for something you don't remember buying, debating whether to cook dinner or simply exist near food and hope for the best. So I work. I write. I take my ambition seriously, but I also make space for nothing, to let my brain rest, wander, and stop trying so hard. Some of my best ideas come when I'm not working, when I stop forcing them. The perfect sentence usually appears when I've stopped looking for it. Just like dating, long grocery store lines, and waiting for a text back. I no longer wake up to notifications. My phone stays silent most of the day. I mute everything that isn't urgent, and spoiler, almost nothing is urgent. I've removed the clutter from my home screen, the mental noise from my mornings, and the chaos from my schedule. And I set the lighting in my apartment because ambiance matters, and overhead lighting is a personal attack. I schedule my life in a way that makes sense for me, not for anyone else, not for some idealized version of me that doesn't exist. I know when I work best. I know when I need to disappear. I know exactly how much social energy I have before I want to go home and sit in silence with my dog. Usually 2 hours, 3 on a good day, 4 if food is involved. I used to think I had to do everything all at once, and that if I couldn't, I was failing. That I had to meet every deadline, every expectation, every invisible rule I had set for myself, like an unpaid intern in my own life. But I don't run on anyone else's timeline anymore. The world tells you to be one thing or another, relentless or restful, driven or detached. But life isn't binary. It exists in the in-between. I still want more. I still chase big, ridiculous, all-consuming dreams. And I'm living a lot of them right now. But I also leave emails unanswered longer than I once would have tolerated. I take naps in the middle of the day. I go for long walks, letting my mind think about nothing at all. And somehow everything still gets done, which is both reassuring and slightly insulting. I used to believe I had to earn the right to slow down, that once I made it, I'd be allowed to enjoy my life. But there is no finish line. There's just your life. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's this. Life is what you make it. Did you hear that? You can make it whatever you want. You can chase ambition without chasing burnout. You can take yourself seriously without taking everything seriously. You can want more without running yourself into the ground to get it. The world will try to tell you otherwise, but the world has been wrong before. You get to build a life that fits, and you get to decide the pace at which you live it.